Gentlemen, welcome to Fight Club. The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. Third rule of Fight Club, someone yells stop, goes limp, taps out. The fight is over.
Welcome to Mr. UFC Vegas Fight Club TV. I am Kyle, your host. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the bet review show for UFC Fight Night 137, Anders vs. Santos. We're going to get into the best bet play that we had, as well as our overall feeling on this card. And before we really get into all that, I first just want to thank everybody for the positive feedback, the positive comments from everybody regarding my partnership with Wagertalk. And I really appreciate everybody's support. Again, this is a passion of mine that I hope that I can continually move forward with and continue to grow the Fight Club brand. Like I said, this channel is going nowhere. We're only looking to expand, and having partnerships like this is what's going to really help this channel continually grow. So it's great to have a phenomenal group of handicappers on Wagertalk that are here to come and support this channel, and as well as I'm there to support Wagertalk. And it's a great partnership, having great conversations with those guys, as well as just knowing that that is a phenomenal place to find opportunities to buy some picks. So if you have not yet done so, get over there, check it out at Wagertalk.com. I will have the link to my profile down below for that as well. And if you have not yet done so, do not forget to subscribe, like, head kick the bell icon, get involved with Fight Club TV. It's a growing UFC and gambling channel all in one spot. So, and also do not forget to follow me on Twitter at Mr. UFC Vegas. I'm always posting stuff on there, and as well as always having comments down below on all of my videos. And again, I answer pretty much every comment on the YouTube channel. So love the conversation with people, love the positivity. And again, I thank all of you for supporting this channel, and as well as my new business venture with Wagertalk. So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the best bet play. The best bet play was for $5. It was, we were running a discount here. They're normally going to be about the $25 range, but we're looking to do some discounts from the beginning of my debut, really, with Wagertalk. We're going to do some discounts, and it was ended up being $5 for my best bet play, which was in the main event between Anders versus Santos. The best bet play was on Thiago Santos to win. We had 2 units on him to win the fight. Those of you that did make the purchase at Wagertalk.com, appreciate the support, appreciate you guys buying it, and it looks like you guys were able to cash in as well. So just so you guys know how it works, we will post up, and again, I'll do this probably Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll post up a prediction video, talk a little bit about the upcoming card, and then not get into the best bet play. That will then be purchased, and let you guys know when it'll be purchased for the upcoming event. So those of you that did purchase it, you will then get a little write-up. I'll do, basically a paragraph on my thoughts, what I think is going to be happening in the fight. So those of you that purchased it before the fight got that information, but I will now discuss a little bit of what we had talked about on Wagertalk and some of my write-ups. So basically, take a look at these two guys. There's a lot of things I liked about Santos. I mean, really a lot of things I liked about him. And for me, it's the biggest thing is his athleticism and his skill set. I mean, he has a terrific skill set that I think is a little bit overlooked by a lot of people. And just looking at the lines, I mean, you look at the lines here, Santos was a minus 140 and the opening lines. And Anders was a plus 120, plus 125, somewhere around there. Very surprised that was the line. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, Santos came in, a little bit. Obviously, they're both guys that stepped in for the main event. But Anders being 6 days notice, and he's fighting at a weight class above what he normally fights at, I thought that was just very odd that the lines were this close. I thought it would have been a little further apart. Now, obviously, betting could obviously change a lot of that. But this was basically the opening line, and thought that that was a little bit off where that was. And I thought that this should have been, a minus 300, to be honest, more towards Santos' side, just because Anders is a phenomenal fighter. There's no question that he's got ability to grow, but he just doesn't have the skill set. He doesn't have the cage movement. He really just looks to throw bombs, and he definitely has some nice wrestling. But when you got a guy like Santos who's going to be able to move around the cage a lot, who's going to be able to find openings with those kicks, I mean, his kicks are phenomenal. And I wish he threw a little bit more leg kicks, but he started kind of working that in that second round and started to work and really soften up Anders and get him a little bit deeper. But the thing also is that there was no question the cardio is going to be an issue for Anders. Now, normally it doesn't seem like it when he's at the right weight class, but here, 6 days notice, he's overweight, just because that's not a weight that he normally fights at. Obviously, there's going to be some cardio situation there where it's not going to be looking good. And to me, the biggest telling sign, and again, we talked about this on my article that I wrote for Wagertalk. After you make the purchase, you get to read it. And the big thing for me was his fight against Tim Williams. Anders versus Tim Williams. I thought that was a fight. I think Anders was like a minus 600, somewhere around there going that fight. Now, you look at that fight. This was a fight that was supposed to completely just display Anders' ability. He was supposed to go in there. This is, Williams is a guy that leaves his head on the center line, doesn't really move around the cage, looks to kind of stand in front of you and kind of scrap. He's not very quick with the hands, very slow combinations. And this was a fight that I thought really, and he really hasn't fought anybody. And this was a fight with Anders could just plow through and make himself look a little good. Obviously, they've got some stock in him. They're looking to hype him. He's had a lot of interviews. There's been some, the small little documentaries that they do on their life and that kind of stuff. And they were really trying to push Anders. You saw him on ESPN. He's played college football. So there was a lot of hype around him. And that Tim Williams fight was one that I think was the most telling sign to me. Like I said, I always go and rewatch the last 3 fights for each of these guys. And that was such a telling sign. And again, it just should have done more. The first round, I thought Tim Williams won that round. Second round was starting to get close. I mean, I would say maybe Anders won it, but still a very close fight. And then in that third round, it really looked to be Anders. And then Anders lands the huge head kick that ends the fight. Now, a lot of people focused on the head kick. That was the thing. Everyone said, the head kick, look what he did, another knockout. But those first 2 rounds were tough rounds for Anders. And if you look at Anders, too, after he lands that big head kick, he was beaten up. I mean, he had a busted nose. He was bleeding all over the place. So this wasn't the fight that really was looking to excel his name. It helped because they could keep showing that head kick. But those first 2 rounds were very difficult for Eric Anders. And in the fight with Santos, quickly going over it, I mean, I just think that it was early on, he was looking for the big shots, but you could tell the speed between Santos and Anders, how different it was. There was nothing that was even close. His hand speed was much better, Santos's was. Obviously his kicks were much better. His cage movement was much better. His grappling was much better. Every category, Santos was definitely better. And the only thing that he did have that Anders had, he's going to have the big, heavy right hand that he was going to look to try, or left hand he was going to try to look to end the fight. And then you've got the takedowns, that trying to take him down, trying to make it a more of a grueling fight, take it to deep water. But the more that even when Anders was getting him down, he wasn't causing as much damage as I think that he possibly could. But again, short notice. Not having the full cardio there. As the fight was getting further, I said, man, if this fight gets into that second round, deep into that second round, I think it's just going to really start tilting the other way. It was definitely the further this fight was going to go, the harder it was going to be for Anders. Early on, again, Anders knew, I cannot strike with this guy. I got to take him down. So he did a great job pressing, keeping the pressure on. But he wasn't looking to just keep the pressure on and throw combinations, which he's done in the past. Here, he just knew, I need to get him to the ground, and that's my only path to victory. Whereas Santos, there's multiple paths to victory. I mean, he could throw a lot of leg kicks, a lot of combinations, work the ground and pound. His ground and pound is phenomenal. And a lot of ways for him to win the fight. So for him, I thought that he just did a phenomenal job. He ends up getting close into that in the third round, getting him tight, landing hard elbows to the head, which I couldn't even believe. One thing for sure is Anders has one heck of a chin. I mean, he was able to take huge shots throughout the fight. Throughout the fight, he was taking big shots. So, I mean, I give him, again, a lot of credit. Can't hate on him for that. But, again, goes into it, gets a bunch of elbows, and you could tell he looked exhausted at that point. But I don't know if it was, I think it was more a combination of the elbows, but a lot of exhaustion came there. He just was trying to take Santos over and over down, knowing he could not stand and strike with him, and that was his path to victory. He did not want to give up on that, and that was the way it worked out. Santos basically putting away Dr. Stoppage, but putting away TKO victory for Thiago Santos. So that gets us the victory. We get another victory at a best bet play. Our best bet play now is 24-10 plus 22.73 units for the year. So Thiago Santos gets us the victory, gets us to cash in. And again, thank you for the support. Those of you that made the purchase, really was, another job well done here at the Fight Club. So also, real quickly, I want to go over to was a lot of people were talking about the fight with Sam Alvey versus Nogueira. And a lot of people wanted to lay the 4 units. If you're going to go 4 units to 1 unit, it was minus 400. But a minus 400 on Sam Alvey against a Brazilian in Brazil who's a veteran is a tough place. And I don't think there should ever be a point where Sam Alvey is a minus 400. I mean, that's in the world of the UFC, that is enormous. When somebody is a minus 400, when they're that big of a spread. And that's kind of a place where you would really think it's going to be a guy who is just a killer against a guy who is just garbage. And to me, that's not what this was. This fight was not a killer versus a guy that's garbage. Sam Alvey, to me, he's decent. I mean, he's decent. He's beaten some guys a little bit over the hill. He's beaten some guys that were middle-of-the-road fighters. But a minus 400, laying that much juice on Sam Alvey will never get you paid. To me, I heard multiple people talking about that and just saying, hey, it's a safe play, or hey, to me, it's not a safe play at all, especially how well-rounded Nogueira is. I mean, Nogueira's got big hands. He likes to throw bombs. He's good inside the clinch with his dirty boxing. Also, on the ground, he's good. Sam Alvey is not active. He's never active, overly active out there. And a lot of times, that's how he really gets into trouble, where he's not setting the pace, setting the tone of the fight. So that's always been a weak spot for him, and then he finds sometimes a way to land a big shot to end the fight. But in this case here, a Brazilian in Brazil, a veteran, a guy who's well-rounded. I mean, it was a complete stay away from me. I did not bet it, but I just heard a lot of people talking about Sam Alvey and thinking that was a good play. To me, again, our best bets are looking for that minus 190 and below. And again, we've got the favorites here, and we've got the underdogs here too. We had Woodley plus 120 against Till. We also had, and that was the fight prior to this. The one prior to that was Michael Johnson. We had a plus 115 against Andre Feely. Got that victory there as our best bet play. So, we got to look for those plays that are going to make us money, but we're not laying the big juice on a guy. Fighting, in my opinion, is you really got to piece it together. You really got to study what's happening, and we all lose. It's going to be part of it. We all are going to lose at points, but we want to handicap and keep our percentage up there high. So right now, on our best bet play, we are 71% winner with nothing over minus 190 as our best bet play. So when you do make that purchase, you do know you're getting value. You're not getting, hey, bet, here's a guy that's minus 500. Again, I see a lot of YouTubers that sometimes do that as well, that really handicap, and they'll not really talk about the gambling side of it, but then they'll pick 10 fights, and maybe out of those 10, 7 of them are minus 400, minus 350. And again, odds don't dictate a fight completely, but when you're always taking favorites and laying the juice there, you're not going to come out profitable all the time. Plus, you're just putting too much juice out there. Instead, find the value, find the opportunities where a guy has a better percentage than the odds indicate to win the fight. So, that's that. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about is we will be getting into, I guess we're about 2 weeks out of the biggest fight in UFC history, Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. We're going to talk about that fight. I already have a bet review, an early betting strategy, for that fight. So check it out on my channel if you want to get a little bit of tidbit. This was, I probably did that about a month ago. So take a look at that. Obviously, things continue to change as we get closer, but we will have a best bet play on that card. Probably have a free play as well, so we'll get into all that as we get closer. And I'm really excited to break that one down. I don't know really where I'm placing my money, if it will be the main event, if I will be looking at placing money at one of the other main card fights. We'll kind of see how that goes. Focused mostly my attention last week to Fight Night 137, so the next 2 weeks, I got some homework to do. And also the last thing I want to bring up was we are looking to do, I had a conversation with Wagertalk as well, that maybe we're looking to do packages of 4 or 6 events or whatever it may be. So maybe you don't have to spend as much and you can still have the value of having a bunch of events under my pick. So we're kind of working through all that. There's more to come in the coming days, so I will definitely discuss that with all of you guys as it gets closer. So there you have it, guys. There is the best bet play. It was Thiago Santos minus 140. He got us the victory. Best bet now is 24-10 plus 22.73 units for the year at that 71%. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video so we know that you guys enjoy this content. Definitely check out my profile at Wagertalk. You can take a look at that. Again, it's down below in the comments, down below in the description, and I will continue this conversation down below in the comment section. So, got some comments? Shoot them down below, and we'll continue the conversation. So that's it, and this is Mr. UFC Vegas, Fight Club TV.